Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and this is my review for the Elseworlds crossover, which was the DC TV 29 Flash, Supergirl, and Arrow crossover. And Legends was not part of the crossover this year, which is why I didn't say the Arrowverse. But I don't really know why, but we're going to talk about the parts of the crossover in order. So first up is the Flash. So Flash was Elseworlds Hour 1. And I'll talk about the body swap first, and this is probably the only time I'll talk about the body swap in focus in this video. So the body swap was something that they revealed before the crossover, and I was very excited about this because I thought that this is something that would lead to so many cool fight scenes and character moments, and I was not disappointed actually. This was very cool to watch. The Flash and Arrow remix themes that they played were really cool. But here is one of the big problems with that, and why is it that Barry and Oliver are the only ones who know that reality has been changed? I mean, they never explain it. Come on, Rex, come on. And that's the entire basis of the crossover, so I would think that was something that you wanted to pay attention to. Anyway, I would say out of the two, I liked Oliver as the Flash better overall. I liked seeing him running and using the Speed Force, and yeah, that was really cool. Because with Barry, it's just him fighting better than he usually does. Though I will say that Grant Gustin, who plays Barry Allen, looks better in the Arrow suit than Steven does in the Flash suit. So, yeah, that's my opinion on the body swap. Now I'm going to talk about the other big thing about this episode. And there's only two big things to talk about with this episode. And the other is Amazo. And I'm just going to say this. I think that you could have Amazo be the main villain for an entire crossover, because he is a really cool and a really good villain for all the heroes, because he can take all their powers. I really liked Amazo. I thought he looked really cool and was really comic booky, which is a good thing for this character. Sometimes it isn't good if some characters aren't comic booky, but yeah. The fight at the end of the episode with him was really good. I think one of the best fights I've seen in crossovers. You can complain that he has no motivation, but that's how he was in the comics, I'm pretty sure. And plus, you did not really need a motivation for a one-episode villain, because that's pretty much what he was. At the end, you see Batwoman on top of Wayne Tech in Gotham, and it was really cool. Like the music that they played, and that's pretty much all there is to talk about for part one. There isn't much in part one, though I really liked part one. So if now we're gonna talk about Elseworlds Hour 2, which was the Arrow part. So this episode is the big intro to Batwoman. I mean, we saw her. They released a poster for her, kind of like a poster before this whole thing, and her suit looked really cool, but that's all you could take away from it. They played the music and at the end of the Hour 1, but apart from that, I didn't really know what to think of her, because I don't really know who she was. But obviously we're gonna talk about her first, and we'll move to the main storyline later. Yeah, so I didn't really know what to think when we first saw her as Kate Kane, not Batwoman. Just Kate Kane on her own. I liked her. I liked her more as we kept going with her. I liked her more because at the beginning we saw her and she was all sarcastic and standoffish and just dark and everything. And she was like a stereotypical character. She didn't really look like she had any personality, but as we went on, we saw her personality more and more, and I actually thought she was likable and could lead her own series, so that's good. You probably want that if that's going to be your lead for a series. When we saw Batwoman for the first time, that just got me on board. I mean, the first thing we see her do is just jump onto a car and beat some bad guys up with a batarang and these really cool gadgets and everything. Yeah, I really like Batwoman's crossover, but that's enough. That's enough on Batwoman, because I could keep going on with her. Now we're gonna talk about the intro to Gotham, because that's obviously where Batwoman's gonna be. And that was awesome, because we basically see the trio go to Gotham on their search for John Deegan, and they show us how ghetto and corrupt Gotham is all over. I really liked that, and the Gotham skyline is really cool. That's actually because I'm pretty sure they went to Atlanta to film the Gotham scenes, which is where they filmed Black Lightning. The Batwoman series actually won't film there. I wish they would, but they won't because they want to cross over with the other shows, and they film in Vancouver, so that's why. Yeah, so the heroes are searching for John Deegan, and they see that he's in Arkham Asylum, and I thought this part was really cool. I think everything in this episode was just really well done, like overall. So Oliver meets John Deegan in Arkham Asylum, and they talk a bit. Then he releases all the inmates, and it's full out chaos. There's so many different parts to this story, so I'll just talk about the most disappointing one first. So Nora Freeze, who I'm pretty sure is like the wife of Mr. Freeze in the comics or something like that, is going all crazy, and she needs a freeze gun or something like that. I don't know why, but she gets that freeze gun and she like shoots it at Caitlin, and then Killer Frost comes out, and I thought they were gonna have a really cool fight, like a nice ice fight, because they played like this really like fight type music, and no, she just blasted Caitlin again, Killer Frost again, and she just flew back on the wall. That was it. Very disappointing. But that actually leads to a really cool part, which is Oliver the Flash. I'm just gonna call him Oliver now. He like comes in, knocks Nora out, I'm pretty sure, and then he spills like a bunch of scarecrow fear gas. Is that what it's called? I'm not even sure. So it's like Flash versus Arrow again. Only this time there's a body swap and fear gas. So if you're unfamiliar with the fear gas, it makes you see your worst fear. Pretty self-explanatory. So Oliver sees the reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne, and Speedster fights him. Barry sees Merlin and fights him. And I would have done this differently because there is a problem with this, and that is that Oliver's worst fear is definitely not the reverse Flash, and Barry's fear is definitely not Merlin. So I get why they did it, but it doesn't make sense. What I would have done is I would have made Merlin the reverse Flash and basically say the same stuff, and same thing with Eobard Thawne as the Dark Archer, Merlin. Just to add, we get a little World's Finest tease with Supergirl and Batwoman. So excited for that. They're supposed to be the new Flash and Arrow. That's cool. But yeah, that's it for the Gotham portion. I mean, it's pretty much all the episode. But the last part is Earth 90, John Wesley's ship's Flash coming to Earth 1, dropping a Easter egg for John Diggle Green Lantern, which I would love to see. Provides exposition on the Book of Destiny, then gets pooped away by the Monitor to God knows where, and then the Monitor gives the book back to John Deegan, who changes reality, which I hate, by the way. Not the Monitor part, just the 90s Flash part, because we were so hyped for this, and they were talking about the 90s Flash so much. They recreated his suit and everything, and he's just an exposition jump. I don't think we probably will never see him again, which is I'm really disappointed in that. But the end scene, the very last scene, is that Oliver and Barry wake up as the Trigger twins and still remember the old reality for some reason. I don't know why. They don't explain it. But 3 cops show up: Deathstroke, Sun, Merlin, and Diaz, which is really cool to see. They run away, get stopped by a black suit Superman who looks awesome. That's it for Arrow. Now we're gonna move on to the final episode, and that is Elseworlds Hour 3 on Supergirl. So this episode starts right where the last episode left off, revealing that Deegan is Superman now, which is really cool. So Oliver and Barry are not superheroes anymore, which makes sense, but it's not that interesting. I wish they would have found another way. Anyway, you might be noticing that I'm going in a more chronological format, but that's because there were only 2 things to talk about in the first episode. But in this, the 5 parts I'll talk about are the Supergirl in prison break, Destiny, Superman, aka John Deegan, the Trigger Twins, the final battle, and the ending. So let's start out with Supergirl in prison, which I thought was a really good part of the episode, but it was really short, which is a common theme in this crossover because Supergirl gets no time in this crossover. Anyway, Supergirl is imprisoned by Destiny, Superman, and she's trying to get out when she sees that Alex is guarding her cell. So she has a really good scene with Alex and basically convinces Alex to let her out, kind of like how Barry convinced Iris in part 1. After that, they try to get out of Star Labs, but Superman, Killer Frost, and Spartan stop them. Just then, the Trigger Twins, Superman, and Vibe show up. And I use air quotes when I say Trigger Twins because they're not really the Trigger Twins. That's it for Supergirl Solo. So now I'll talk about the Trigger Twins, which is also a pretty short section as they don't do much. So Oliver and Barry talk to the Monitor and just argue for a bit, and then they go to Cisco Ramon, who in this reality is like a mob boss or something like that. And they convince him to take them to Superman on Earth 38, and they go to Star Labs and save Supergirl. And that's it. That's where we ended Supergirl, actually. It's not really much to talk about. Now on to Destiny Superman, aka John Deegan. I think that Deegan is actually a really good villain and could be like a main villain for an entire season, maybe like Legends or Supergirl. Destiny Superman has obviously been changing reality a lot, and in this one, he makes an entire building, basically Star Labs, full of people devoted to raising his own self-esteem, which is why he's a bad guy. And so Deegan fights Superman in the middle of the episode, and the fight is really good, but Deegan beats Superman and eventually gets the book back, which leads to the final battle. So this final battle, I would say, is it's a good enough final battle, but doesn't have the spectacle, the wow factor that last year's crossover had, which is like representative of this entire thing. Also, before all this, Superman opens the book and makes everyone heroes again. Deegan is changing reality after that, and Barry says that he and Kara can go fly and run around the world so fast that they can slow down time. So they can get the book away from Deegan, obviously. They go do that, and Clark tells Clark tells Oliver that he saw Barry and Kara die when he opened the book. Obviously, Oliver doesn't want this to happen, so he goes and talks to the Monitor. I actually really love this scene because it shows how like brave Oliver is to like confront the Monitor, and he basically like succeeds, and obviously that's good. So meanwhile this thing is happening, the Supergirl team shows up, and they're awesome. So I was really excited that we were going to see like multiple fights like we had on last year on Crisis on Earth X, but we got none of that actually. Martian Manhunter is just shown saving this one family. That's it for him. Bernie runs up to Amazo. They fly up and disappear, and apparently they fought and he won, which we do not see. Lois actually does one thing. She slams down this cool looking hammer in Deegan's direction, but then he just attacks her and she falls back. Barry and Kara are going around the world and slow down time and are about to burn up and die, but succeed just as Lois is about to fall and die, so time is just stopped. Oliver at the same time runs up with a Destiny arrow and shoots Deegan's book, returning reality back to normal. Barry and Kara stop, which prevents them from dying. Clark saves Lois and from dying. Brainy drops down and has defeated Amazo apparently, and that is it for the big end fight of Elseworlds. I know I just punched a dump of information without my thoughts, but that's because you are about to hear some ranting. Number one problem: how is Oliver Queen moving faster than Supergirl and the Flash? He just runs up and shoots an arrow like time isn't being slowed down. That doesn't make any sense, and they never explain it. Number two, you never show Brainiac 5 running up to Amazo and then not show them fight. Why couldn't you just show that fight? That would have been so cool to watch. Yeah, that was very stupid of them to do. They should have had the budget for that because this is a crop. Anyway, after that, what happens is that Barry and Oliver go to like the bar to get a drink, and Oliver gets a call from Batwoman saying that Deegan has apparently made a friend in prison. That friend is Psycho Pirate, which is like a big person in Crisis on Infinite Earths, and he says Crisis on Infinite Earths tagline: Earths will live, Earths will die. And then we see the Crisis on Infinite Earths logo, which was really cool and totally unexpected from me. Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna do it, but it's cool. Anyway, now I'm gonna give you my ranking of all the parts of the Elseworlds crossover. So I'm gonna say in the order of best to worst and of my ranking of the Elseworlds parts is number 1, Elseworlds Hour 2, number 2, Elseworlds Hour 1, and number 3, Elseworlds Hour 3. I would say that my favorite, which is different from my ranking of the best, is my favorite was Hour 1 because it had the best overall storyline, but Hour 3 had the best moments, and Hour 2 had both. That's why, and Hour 2 also had less problems. So I would say that Hour 2 was just the best in quality, but I liked Hour 1 the most. Hour 3 was kind of a letdown. The fight wasn't as good as I was expecting, but yeah. Anyways, tell me your ranking in the comment section below as well, and what you would like for me to post next. Bye.